Hello, and welcome to Preschool Essential IEP Part 2, Measurable Goals and Specially Designed Instruction. This presentation focuses on measurable goals, progress monitoring, specially designed instruction, accommodations, modifications, and support for school personnel. There are three elements of a measurable goal. All three elements must be part of each goal on the IEP in order to be considered compliant. The first element of a measurable goal is clearly defined behavior. The second element of a measurable goal is the condition under which the behavior will occur. The final element is the criteria that will be used to evaluate the performance of the behavior. Clearly defined behavior is defined as the specific action the child will be expected to perform. The behavior should be based on one specific skill. Do not blend skills, such as listening and responding, in one goal. The description of the skill should be clear, concise, and specific. The next element of a measurable goal is the condition under which the behavior will occur. The condition can be defined as the situation, setting, or given material in which the behavior is to be performed. The last element of a measurable goal is the criteria that will be used to evaluate the performance of the behavior. The definition of performance criteria is the level the child must demonstrate for mastery, and the number of times that skill or behavior must be demonstrated to be considered for mastery. It is important for districts to use the same unit of measurement when describing mastery of the goal that will be used in the present levels of performance and in the progress reports. Districts should avoid using vague terms such as increase or decrease with a baseline or target of acceptable performance. Performance criteria should include both a level of degree and a level of mastery. Below the measurable annual goal, there are checkboxes lettered A through K. The district must determine and identify here the best way to monitor the progress toward the annual goal for the child. Remember that there must also be written documentation to support whichever method is selected. For example, if the observation box is checked, there must also be a written record in order to support this method of data collection. Progress monitoring is used to determine if the child is making progress and inform instruction. The monitoring helps determine if the goals of the IEP are being met. The results of the monitoring can be a basis to reevaluate the IEP to provide different or additional supports that may better meet the needs of the child. In Section 6 of the IEP, you will indicate the method that will be used to measure the student's progress towards each goal. There are rollover explaining each of the methods. You will also indicate the frequency of reporting progress to the child's parents. Progress reports must be provided to the parents of a child with a disability at least as often as progress reports are issued to all children. If the district provides interim reports to all children, progress reports must be provided to all parents of a child with a disability. This optional form has been updated with new components. These new components are: data source refers to method being used for measuring the child's progress towards their annual goal. Remember to refer back to Section 6 of the IEP, the method boxes A through K located under the measurable annual goal. Data points refer to the level of mastery and the number of times the child is presently performing towards mastering their annual goal. See slide for example. Note that for young children, using a percentage of accuracy may not be the best way to define mastery and document progress. Besides percentage of accuracy, other dimensions of behavior to consider are frequency, latency, intensity, and duration. Once the goal has been reported, select Add Next Goal to report progress on another goal, if applicable. Please ensure that if you use a district-created form for reporting progress, that these new components are included. Specially designed instruction means adapting as appropriate to the needs of a child the content, methodology, or delivery of instruction to address the unique needs of the child that results from the child's disability and to ensure access to the general education curriculum so that the child can meet the educational standards that apply to all children. Specially designed instruction is how you are teaching the child and how the delivery of instruction is either different from what every child receives or is a critical element of instruction. For example, a teacher may use picture schedules with all young children, but for the child with a disability, they are critical to ensuring the child has access and can participate in the general education curriculum. There must be a clear connection to the specific goal referenced and the location of services. The amount of time must reflect the need of the individual child and is not based on a schedule or availability of staff. Specially designed instruction describes the nature of the instruction that aligns with the needs of the child and supports the progress towards achievement of annual goals. Specially designed instruction can be a standalone related service. Assistive technology is defined as any item, piece of equipment, or product system, whether acquired commercially off the shelf, modified or customized, that is used to increase or maintain or improve the functional abilities of a student with a disability. It is important to note that a surgically impaired device is not considered by federal law to be assistive technology. Assistive technology services means any service that directly assists a child with a disability in the selection, acquisition, or use of an assistive technology device. Please note, under assistive technology in Section 7 of the IEP form, it is not necessary to identify time and frequency. Accommodations provide access to course content, but do not alter the scope or complexity of the information taught to the child. Modifications change the amount and/or complexity of the instructional material taught. Modifications of the curriculum result in the child being taught the same information as same-age grade-level peers, but with less complexity or reduced work requirements. Support for school personnel is an area that documents interaction between adults. This section identifies the person or persons who will receive the specific support provided, by whom, and when it will occur. There can be more than one support description in this area. An example of this could be when an itinerant teacher consults with a general education classroom teacher within a general education setting. The itinerant teacher would be providing support to the classroom teacher. As another example, consider a student who has been identified with a speech and language impairment. The speech and language pathologist might consult with the classroom teacher to provide strategies which could be used in the classroom for the student. This section is where the interaction of the speech pathologist consulting with the classroom teacher would be documented. The IEP form does not include specific time and frequency boxes under support for school personnel. For preschool, you may provide time and frequency in the description. On the dynamic version of the IEP form, the text box above the begin and end date boxes will expand and is acceptable place to include time and frequency. This concludes Part 2 of the Essential Preschool IEP module.